Science is broken into two categories: experimental science, observations, and theoretical science, the hypotheses. Well, something began to change about half a century ago. There's another way to acquire knowledge. You use computers and models to simulate events. So it brought to the scene computational science. PECOS was created with a strong motivation to look at and quantify all of the uncertainties in prediction and develop the mathematics, the statistics, the science and the engineering to underlying what needs to make a reliable prediction.
The PECOS Center is part of the Institute for Computational Engineering and Science, which is a research institute at the University of Texas at Austin. The center was founded with a large grant from the Department of Energy for developing computational methods for the simulation of complex systems and the development of techniques for uncertainty quantification. PECOS's mission is to not only to advance the ability to predict the response of complex systems, of physical systems, but also to develop characterizations of how reliable those predictions are.
Now they apply that to specific problem areas. They apply it to turbulence modeling. They apply it to look at the physics and chemistry around re-entry space vehicles. They look at chemical kinetics. They look at a host of different problems. But underlying everything is to pay careful attention to the predictivity of computational models.
Every computational model has uncertainties and model errors. It's like doing an experiment where you have error bars on the outputs of an experiment. Well, every model should have error bars on the outputs. These uncertainties can stem from initial conditions, boundary conditions, sources, material properties, or even the structure of the model itself. That is, when we don't understand the physics adequately that we can model it, so the model itself can actually have missing physics. The role of uncertainty in computational models is to take these input uncertainties and propagate them to the output and make predictions with the models that have uncertainties.
Large eddy simulation is a technique for modeling turbulent fluid flows. Turbulence is a very ubiquitous phenomena in all sorts of devices, and we need to be able to predict things about how turbulence is going to behave. Large eddy simulation is a particular modeling technique in that domain, where we simulate the details, some of the details of the turbulence, but not all of them. It's really only been highly successful in very simple flows, and we're trying to develop new models that are more robust, that can handle more difficult modeling situations.
So new models that we're looking at developing, they really focus on really capturing the distribution of turbulent kinetic energy across all scales of motion and in all directions, rather than just global coarse measures of total dissipation. And so in doing so, we should be able to not only capture the global effects of dissipation, but also more accurately resolve turbulent structures in all directions in our flow for complex geometries and complex grids.
Rand's flamelet models are models used in turbulent combustion to represent the mean flow of a turbulent flame. In these models, we're only representing the mean flow, so we don't have a complete representation of the state of the flow. What that means is that we need to model the effects of, say, turbulence, and we do that with engineering type models like an eddy viscosity-based K-epsilon turbulence model, and then the flamelet representation of combustions. We attempt to represent the inadequacies in these models by identifying these aspects of the model that are incorrect and equipping the model with some sort of mathematical description of how that aspect of the model may be wrong. And so that allows us then to propagate those potential errors through the model and see their impact on the quantity of interest. In the future, we hope to move computational prediction from a paradigm where we're making deterministic predictions to a paradigm where we're making probabilistic predictions that include the effects of model inadequacy so that those effects can be accounted for in decisions that are made based on these models.
I would like to see the work that PECOS is doing to develop into essentially a broadly applicable set of tools that can be used to characterize uncertainties in computational models, including uncertainties due to the errors in the models as well as other sources, so that computational science and engineering can essentially become a very reliable tool in science and engineering and decision making.